Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today we're going to have a collection review or a partial collection review of the collection of Rudi Dobson. Some of you may know Rudi because he's been collecting watches and has a great collection. I call it the Holy Trinity collection. But it's really only a part of the collection. It's a tiny microcosm of it. But I think you're going to like it. Okay, so let's get started in taking a look at these watches. Now, the first two at the top there are by Vacheron Constantin. The one on the left is a gorgeous watch. It's the platinum version of the, see if I can say it all, the Vacheron Constantin Historique Américain 1921. I think that's the full name. And they came out with the platinum version. First of all, they had the gold version, the one I have, and then they came out later with the platinum version. And the platinum version has the blue lettering on it, and it's a gorgeous watch. It has the same movement as the original, but it's like gorgeous. The other one was nice too. The other watch on to the right is a Vacheron Constantin overseas. And one of the things about overseas, if the newer ones, you can tell them because they have 6 horns instead of 8. And this one has 6. And what that means is that they have the Vacheron Constantin movement in it. And this beauty here is a chronograph, an overseas chronograph, and the date's at about 4:30, and I like it there because I like the other dials at 3, 6, and 9, and so that's another just gorgeous watch. Now the bottom two are really neat watches. The one on the left is a 50 Fathoms Blancpain. The Blancpain 50 Fathoms is the sort of really the original diver. I know a lot of people, they love their subs and those are great watches, and they have some other divers they like too. I like the, what is it called? The orange one. I forgot the name of it, but it's orange. And but this Blancpain is a really pretty example of a 50 Fathoms. Next to it on the bottom is a Reverso, and it's got the calendar, and it has a moon phase. And if you look at the back, this is one of the things I like about it. Not all the Reversos have this, but you can see the movement. And notice that the movement has sort of a tonneau shape, and it's just a beautiful watch. I really like this particular Reverso. So those are that's the first group, and we're just getting started. Okay, and by the way, this is, like I said, just a subsection of Rudi's collection. All right, the next group of watches are some Patek Philippe's. The Nautilus 5711 up in the upper left-hand corner. There are 2 of these in Rudi's collection. There's 0 in mine. And this is a very popular watch, and it's just a very good looking watch. In person, so to speak, I saw one of these, the guy had one on, and they're really a very beautiful watch. Stainless steel, still look great. Now, to the right is a Calatrava, a Patek Philippe Calatrava. It's the automatic model, and this is in white gold. And this is the thing about a Calatrava that I like is it's timeless. It's got a timeless look to it. It's simple, it's clear. This one has the date on it in addition. It's got a nice size date at 3 o'clock, so it's a nice clear date. The at the bottom, there's another Calatrava, except this one is a wind-up, is the hand-wound one, and you can see the back of it. The back of Patek Philippe's, in looking at the movement, they're beautiful movements. They really are. Even in my old Calatrava, my 1968 Calatrava. You open that thing up, and the movements very well finished. Just really a very pretty thing to have. That's another thing I like about this particular watch. It's gorgeous looking in the front and the back both, and I like hand wound. So, okay. Now, this next watch is that on the left is what's called the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. I'm sure all of you recognize that right away. This one is the Jumbo Ultra Thin. And the one on the right is also ultra thin, except it's in platinum and titanium with a smoke blue dial. It's also a limited edition of 250 of those. So there are two really gorgeous watches. Rudi wears them time on his watch and his arm at the same time. Nah, just kidding. He doesn't do that. But those are really two beautiful examples. And one of the things you'll notice that I like about Rudi's watches, all of them are in taken very good care of, and that's important. It doesn't matter whether you have the less expensive watches are really good watches. Taking good care of them is important always. Now at the bottom there's a great big old Royal Oak offshore chronograph, and this one is just about as solid as you can get, and it has the classic Royal Oak shape to it, and it has the subdials at 12, 9, and 6, and then at 3 o'clock is where they have the date window on it. And this is another great one. There's something about Audemars Piguets I think that Rudi likes. You may have noticed that on the very first slide we had, there was Rudi standing in front of Audemars Piguet. And then next to that was a Blancpain. He's got more Blancpain. He's got more of everything. But this is just a starter on them all. Okay, now the final group we're going to look at are more Audemars Piguet. Now the ultra-thin Perpetual calendar is only 6 millimeters thick, and it's codenamed the RD2. I keep thinking the R2D2, but it's just the RD2. This has not been released yet, and this is a sort of a sneak peek at it, but boy, I tell you, it's a beautiful looking watch. And you can see the subdials at about, well, they look like they're about at 2 and 10. There you have the months of the year at 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock. You have the days of the week, and then at 6 o'clock, the 6 o'clock subdial, you have the days of the month. And up at the top is where a little Audemars Piguet window is. Is that? I'm not sure if that's a moon phase or not, but it's a loaded watch. And for Audemars Piguet fans, especially if you like the Royal Oak and Perpetual calendars, this would be one I think it's going to be a lot of people are going to really like. To the right is a Royal Oak chronograph. And this is just another chronograph. It's got the dials at 3, 9, and 6, and the chronograph buttons at 2 and 4 o'clock, and then the crown right in the middle there. It's another gorgeous watch. Now, if that's not enough for you, if you want your tourbillon, there's a tourbillon at the bottom left down there is a flying tourbillon. And this watch, you can see a lot of it, and it's hard to, it's sort of like for Audemars Piguet, I don't think I've ever seen a collection that has this kind of breadth and depth to it. And this flying tourbillon I'm not a big tourbillon fan. I've said that on several occasions, but I like this one. I keep saying that. I say, well, here's a tourbillon. Well, I like it, but I don't like tourbillon. This one I like a lot. And it's a beautiful watch. Okay, the next at the bottom right is Royal Oak Offshore summer edition. I didn't know they had summer and winter edition, but this is the summer edition Byblos. It's only limited to 50 pieces. Again, this is a very, very attractive watch. And it's a chronograph, and you can see the pushers at 2 and 4 o'clock. You can barely see them because they're in gold and they're very subtle. They're not the big horns that stick up that you can for punching on a chronograph. It's another beautiful watch. It's a kind of watch too. It's a sports watch, but you could wear that to anywhere, I think. So anyway, well, listen. I hope to have at a later date more of Rudi's collection, because this collection is so rich that it's, like I said, this is only part of it. And this was the high horology, not the high horology, I should say the Holy Trinity of it, because there's so many Audemars Piguets, there's Vacheron Constantin, and 2 very nice Vacheron Constantins, and then Patek Philippe. And these are the Patek Philippes I think that most people recognize and really like, the Nautilus and the Calatrava. I mean, all of these things. There's no doubt about the choice of these. Now, when you recommend, how do you recommend somebody like Rudi to, oh, this is what you ought to get next? Well, that's already in the works. Okay. An FP Journe blue is on the way, and Chronomet blue, which would, oh, by the way, too, for watch checks, I have my FP Journe Chronomet Souverain on. So I think that's a great direction to go. I think FP Journe would be a really wonderful addition to Carré Vautin. There's another in 11 years. I think he's scheduled for a Roger Smith. But there's really an incredible waiting list on Roger Smith. So it's going to be interesting. I think there's so many different directions to go with this. There's another watch that has some things in it that I keep wanting to get one, and I may someday, and that is a Christian Vanderclaw. They have some very, very interesting astronomical watches, and that's what they specialize in. But they're also really beautiful. It's a Dutch company, and really interesting watches. And these are some of the things I would suggest. I'd also suggest too, for some really interesting movements, take a look at, and again, naturally, it's something I happen to have, and that is the H. Moser double hairspring. They have a few hairy double hairsprings out there in the wild, and they're gonna, I think they produce about 20 a year that are gonna go into the Swiss Alps model. I think it's, if you're interested in really unique movements, that's one that I know of. Let's see, I mentioned, I'll tell you something. Laurent Ferrier, now he spent a lot of time with Patek Philippe, and his watches, I think inside, the movements they reflect that influence. On the outside, though, I really like his designs, Laurent Ferrier's. Gerbeau and Forcé, these are your technical wonders. I mean, there's so many different ones, so many places to go from this point. And, I'm as excited to see what Rudi picks over anything I might recommend. And interesting kinds of things. See what I'd like to hear from you guys, and see what you think. It's so many options open up at this level, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. Okay, well, as always, if you'd like to subscribe, this is an invitation. And until next Friday, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.